What's up, guys? So, Larian has finally done it, and the long-awaited patch 8 is finally here. It dropped earlier last week. There are new subclasses for every single class, there's a photo mode, there's crossplay, as well as a ton of bug fixes. Larian has stated, though, unfortunately, that after this patch, they are not only done with Baldur's Gate 3, but they are done with the Baldur's Gate franchise entirely and Dungeons and Dragons. So what does this mean for the future of Larian? What does this mean for the future of Baldur's Gate 3 and the Baldur's Gate franchise? In today's video, we'll cover that and more. So let's jump into it. Let's just take a second to recognize how awesome Larian is. I'm not sure how many of you have been playing BG3 since the beginning, but despite Baldur's Gate 3 winning Game of the Year and winning basically every single award that a video game can possibly win, when BG3 first came out, it was definitely not as polished as it is now. It wasn't a bad game by any means, it just wasn't really finished. In fact, if you watch Carnage's review of BG3, he tells everyone that yes, the game is awesome, but he recommended waiting to play it until Larian fleshed out Act 3. Act 3, when the game first came out, felt kind of hollow compared to the other acts, and a lot of the characters didn't really have great endings, and in the example of Karlach, her story wasn't even finished. Larian said, you know what, hold my beer, and finished Karlach's endings, fully fleshed out Act 3, and has continued to update BG3 a full almost 2 years after the game's release. When we have AAA studios with teams as large as 20,000 employees releasing literally unplayable slop, it's amazing to see a team of just a few hundred people have such a dedication to their fan base. Larian took what they do well, which is large, open-world, story-driven RPGs, and gave the fans what they wanted. They didn't need microtransactions, they didn't need a live service game, all they needed to do was make the games they know how to make and make them well. It's wild how so many studios miss this very simple idea. Make a good game and people will buy it and play it and love it. But anyways, I digress. With the finalization of Patch 8, Larian has stated that this will be the last update to Baldur's Gate 3. And what a final patch it was. Patch 8 has almost 50 pages of patch notes with almost 20,000 words. This is one of, if not the largest patch the game has had to date. And with this final patch, Larian is done with Baldur's Gate 3, Dungeons and Dragons, and the Baldur's Gate franchise entirely. So what does this mean for Larian? Larian hasn't stated much in the way of what they are working on, other than that they are working on 2 independent IPs that will be completely independent of D&D and Baldur's Gate. They also stated that these 2 new IPs will be their best work ever. As far as what to expect, most of us can only speculate, but we can almost be sure that they will be an RPG, and it will be story-rich, as that is what the studio has been known for. Larian almost always delivers a killer product, so we will just have to wait and see what they come up with. As far as the future of the Baldur's Gate franchise, it's largely unknown how Hasbro/Wizards of the Coast is going to tackle this. Hasbro has stated that they are in no hurry to release Baldur's Gate 4, and that they were going to take a very measured approach when it came to future sequels to the franchise. Dan Ayab, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his last name correctly, but anyways, he's the senior vice president of digital products at Hasbro, and he was quoted as saying, "I'm never one to shy down from a challenge, and developers love to have a high bar to go after." I think we've actually seen the team push some really interesting ideas that they're like, okay, we need to raise the bar. We need to go bigger on this. So I think that's our hope, right? We would just keep raising the bar and everyone just tries to go a little higher. While this comment doesn't confirm or deny that Baldur's Gate 4 is in the works, there was a job opening for the Dungeons & Dragons senior narrative role on March 8th of this year. That would be for a unique IP development role. All we know at this point is that Hasbro is working on something, but we don't really know if it is Baldur's Gate 4 or another IP entirely. All in all, I'm pretty satisfied with what Larian has accomplished with Baldur's Gate 3. Baldur's Gate 3 is definitely in my top 5 games of all time, maybe even number 1. I'm already trying to get some buddies together to do another playthrough and check out all the new subclasses and features. While I'm sad to see Larian walk away from D&D and Baldur's Gate, I'm excited to see what new projects that they will come up with. As far as Baldur's Gate 4 goes, we will just have to wait and see what studio takes the reins from Larian. I think some good contenders for the IP would be Owlcat Games and CD Projekt Red. Owlcat Games already has a strong track record with D&D style games as being the creators of Pathfinder Kingmaker. And if you guys don't know who Pathfinder is or what Pathfinder is, Pathfinder, not to get too much into the weeds, but basically Pathfinder split off from Dungeons and Dragons when version 4 came out, and there was a lot of players that weren't really happy with the rule set and the new rules. So Pazio, which was originally the developers of the Dungeons and Dragons magazine, or the editors of the Dungeons and Dragons magazine, they split off and created Pathfinder. So Pathfinder was very similar to Dungeons and Dragons in the systems. It's just a little bit different. So, but anyways, CD Projekt Red, although they are not really known for making D&D style games, they are known for super rich storytelling and a really immersive world building. I mean, Cyberpunk 2077, The Witcher, a series, their games are really deep and very story driven. So I could totally see them taking on the Baldur's Gate franchise. But whatever studio decides to pick up the torch from Larian, they've got some pretty big shoes to fill. Larian did an amazing job at Baldur's Gate 3, and I'm so excited that they picked it up, and I'm really, really excited to see what they do next. So, but thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please consider liking and subscribing, as it really helps with the YouTube algorithm. I make weekly content about various gaming topics like gaming news, game reviews, build guides, stuff like that. Till next time, have a great day/night. See ya.